Baseball fans, buckle up, because tonight's MLB slate is absolutely loaded. We're talking all 15 games, coast-to-coast action, from early afternoon heat to primetime fireworks. Rivalries are heating up, playoff races are tightening, and every pitch is starting to feel like October. Whether it's the heavy hitters chasing history, the aces trying to silence bats, or the underdogs ready to shock the world, there's something in every single matchup that can swing the standings in your betting slip. This isn't just another day of baseball, this is a full-on gauntlet, and we're breaking down every game so you know exactly where the value is before the first pitch is even thrown. The Minnesota Twins and Kansas City Royals square off in Game 1 of this weekend series, and oddsmakers have already set a clear but not overwhelming stance on the matchup. The Twins enter as slight moneyline favorites, sitting between -136 and -139, while the Royals are listed as underdogs in the +116 to +118 range. The run line sees Minnesota at -1.5 paying around +146 to +151, and Kansas City +1.5 priced between -178 and -164. The total for this game is locked at 8.5 runs, with over odds hovering from -105 to -109 and the under between -102 and -115. This spread and total placement suggest the books are expecting a competitive game with enough offensive potential to keep the scoring balanced above league average. In terms of win probability, NumberFire's model gives the Twins about a 55.9% chance to win, while Fox Sports leans even closer to a coin flip, projecting a 52 to 48 split in Minnesota's favor. That narrow statistical edge is a green flag for value seekers leaning toward the Royals, especially when factoring in their current form and how they've performed in recent head-to-head matchups. Despite the Twins being favored, this is far from a foregone conclusion. Recent performance trends show Minnesota going 4-6 over their last 10 games, scoring roughly 4.9 runs per game and posting a team ERA in the 4.29 to 5.21 range depending on the source. Against the spread over that span, they've gone 7-3 and hit the over in 8 of their last 10 total set games. The Royals, meanwhile, have gone 5-5 in their last 10, averaging 5.3 runs per game with their team ERA ranging from 3.65 to 5.32. They've also been involved in high-scoring affairs, hitting the over in 8 of their last 10. When both teams are trending toward high totals, it makes the over play far more appealing than the under despite a relatively fair number from the sportsbooks. On the player performance side, Minnesota has seen consistent offensive production from Ryan Jeffers, who is in the middle of a 10-game hitting streak and batting .350 over that stretch. Trevor Larnach is seeing the ball well too, hitting .389 with 2 home runs over his last 5 games, and Brooks Lee has chipped in timely hits to extend rallies. For Kansas City, Bobby Witt Jr. remains the offensive engine, batting .300 over the past 5 games with multiple extra base hits. Salvador Perez continues to be a dangerous bat, carrying 20 home runs on the year and showing recent power surges. Props in this game offer several intriguing angles. Salvador Perez to hit a home run stands out as one of the top value plays on the board, priced around +475. His advanced metrics back it up: a barrel rate in the 90th percentile and an expected slugging percentage well above league average. These are the kinds of statistical indicators that, when combined with a hitter's hot streak, can turn a longshot prop into a calculated risk worth taking. From a betting perspective, this matchup has multiple playable angles. The Royals' moneyline at +116 to +118 offers value given the near 50-50 win probability projection, especially for those looking to back an underdog that can hit for power and has been scoring consistently. The over 8.5 at -105 to -109 is also worth consideration, as both lineups have been involved in high-scoring games and have shown an ability to put runs on the board quickly. Salvador Perez's home run prop at +475 is the ideal high-upside spot for a small stake. A same-game parlay approach could combine Royals' moneyline, over 8.5 runs, and Perez to hit a home run for a high-risk, high-reward ticket. This build capitalizes on an underdog win scenario paired with the expectation of offensive fireworks and a single player delivering a key blow. For a larger multi-leg parlay, adding Ryan Jeffers to record a hit, to extend his streak, and Trevor Larnach to hit a home run would create a four-leg ticket that leans heavily into the offensive theme this game projects. Ultimately, while the Twins have the home field edge and the slightly better win probability metrics, the Royals' combination of offensive form, recent scoring trends, and underdog price tag make them a tempting play. Pairing that with a game total leaning over aligns well with how both teams have been trending at the plate. And in a game where one swing can shift momentum, targeting power bats like Perez for home run props provides the kind of upside that makes these matchups exciting to bet and watch. If I were approaching this from a purely value-driven standpoint, my core plays would be Royals moneyline, over 8.5, and Perez to homer. From there, a small stake on a same-game parlay linking those three legs could be the lottery ticket play of the night. That's the exact type of spot stump the spread bettors tend to look for. Calculated risk with legitimate upside, grounded in the numbers and recent form, rather than blind hope. The Cincinnati Reds and Pittsburgh Pirates square off in an NL Central matchup that might not feature two division leaders, but it carries plenty of intrigue for bettors. The Reds enter as slight favorites on the money line, priced around -125 to -128, while the Pirates are listed as underdogs in the +105 to +108 range. The run line shows Cincinnati -1.5 at roughly +150. With Pittsburgh +1.5 coming in between -175 and -180. Odds makers have set the total at 8.5 runs, with over and under prices near even money, generally ranging from -105 to -110 on either side. The tight moneyline and balanced total reflect the perception of these teams as evenly matched, with only a slight edge going to Cincinnati based on form and probable pitching. Model projections paint a picture of a coin flip contest. Several sportsbooks' internal simulations put the Reds' win probability in the 52 to 54% range, with the Pirates at 46 to 48%. This minimal separation is the type of scenario where underdog bettors often see opportunity, especially when the plus money side is playing competitive baseball and has an offensive edge in certain matchups. The Pirates have shown streaky upside and enough bullpen resilience to be live dogs in games like this. Recent form tells a deeper story. The Reds have gone 5-5 in their last 10, averaging just under 4.2 runs per game with a team ERA around 4.35. Their offense has been inconsistent, with some games producing multiple home runs and others going almost completely silent. Cincinnati's bullpen has been hit or miss, converting most save chances but also allowing damaging runs late in games that have swung both totals and moneyline outcomes. The Pirates, on the other hand, are also 5-5 in their last 10, averaging 4.6 runs per game with a team ERA hovering near 4.20. One important difference is that Pittsburgh has been better at covering the run line recently, going 7-3 ATS over that span, and they've cashed the over in 6 of those 10 contests. Player performance could be the key separator in this matchup. For Cincinnati, Elly De La Cruz remains the most dynamic offensive player on the field. Over the last week, he's batting .316 with a pair of home runs and 4 stolen bases. His blend of power and speed makes him dangerous both as a run producer and as someone who can create scoring chances on his own. Spencer Steer has also been heating up, hitting .308 over his last 5 games with multiple extra base hits. For Pittsburgh, Brian Reynolds continues to be a consistent run producer, batting .295 over his last 10 games with a 1.012 ops. O'Neal Cruz brings raw power from the left side, and when locked in, he can change the game with one swing. From a prop betting standpoint, Elly De La Cruz to record 2+ total bases stands out as a strong option, often available around -105 to -110. Given his ability to get there with either a single extra base hit or a pair of singles, it's a play that leans on his current form. For a higher risk, higher reward angle, Bryan Reynolds to hit a home run in this matchup is enticing at prices between plus 420 and plus 450. He's been elevating the ball well in recent games, and his power plays in almost any park. For the base bets, Pirates plus 1.5 on the run line feels like the safest angle, covering both a narrow Reds win and any outright Pirates victory. The plus money Pirates moneyline also holds value given how close the statistical projections are. As for the total, the over 8.5 at near even money is appealing because both lineups have been generating consistent power and run scoring opportunities, while the pitching matchups do not scream lockdown performance on either side. A same-game parlay setup that blends reasonable likelihood with upside could be Pirates plus 1.5, over 8.5 total runs, and Elly de la Cruz 2+ total bases. This build plays into a competitive, higher-scoring game while banking on the most consistent Reds hitter to contribute. For a more aggressive version, swapping Pirates plus 1.5 for the Pirates moneyline and adding Bryan Reynolds to homer would create a large payout scenario if Pittsburgh can steal the game and Reynolds delivers the big swing. The key to this matchup is going to be offensive execution against middle-inning relievers. Both bullpens have been vulnerable, which suggests the later innings could decide both the moneyline and the total. For underdog backers, that's exactly the type of situation you want. A close game in the 7th or 8th where one swing can flip the scoreboard and the betting tickets. With that in mind, the Pirates' recent form at the plate and their success covering spreads put them in position to be a live underdog worth a look. If I were playing this straight, I would take Pirates plus 1.5 as the primary wager, sprinkle on the moneyline for plus money value, and take the over 8.5 as a secondary play. Props would include Elly de la Cruz 2+ total bases and Bryan Reynolds to hit a home run. For parlays, the balanced SGP version offers moderate upside with a reasonable hit rate, while the aggressive version has lottery ticket potential. This game may not be the most glamorous on the schedule, but it's exactly the kind of matchup where sharp bettors can find an edge if they're willing to trust the numbers and embrace a little variance. The New York Yankees and Houston Astros gear up for their third game of the weekend series at Yankee Stadium, and betting markets are drawing a very balanced picture. Across multiple sportsbooks, Houston is positioned as a narrow favorite on the moneyline, typically around -122, while New York carries the underdog tag at roughly +102. The run line has the Astros at -1.5, offering +138 on the bite, with the Yankees +1.5 priced between -166 and -163. The total has settled squarely at 8 runs, with both the over and under trading around -110. These lines indicate a close contest expected, with both sides boasting enough firepower to push the aggregate into moderate scoring territory. Simulated models and expert analysis paint a margin as tight as the betting lines. Fox Sports' internal projection gives Houston a 53% win probability, leaving the Yankees with a respectable 47% chance to win. Capertech's AI-driven simulation actually leans toward a New York win, projecting a close 5-4 final in favor of the Yankees. That split outcome range, plus the proximity of the lines, makes this game a textbook case for finding value on the underdog side or leaning into the total if you like action. Looking at recent team form, both clubs arrive with identical 4-6 records over their last 10 games. The Astros are averaging 4.6 runs per game with a team ERA around 3.38, while going over the total in 7 of those 10 games. New York, on the other hand, has trailed slightly on both runs, about 4.59 per game, and pitching ERA around 4.59, with a less favorable ATS showing, just 2-8 in their last 10. That disparity in ATS performance and offensive consistency suggests Houston has been the steadier side recently, a trend that bodes well for small market savvy bettors looking at value lines. Individually, Jose Altuve remains a cornerstone for Houston, leading in home runs approximately 19 to 20, and RBIs approximately 61, and currently riding a 6-game hitting streak, hitting .302 over his last 10 games. Jeremy Pena has also been a standout, batting .321 on the season and coming off one of the most consistent stretches of his career. For the Yankees, Aaron Judge is a central figure to any offensive prediction, hammering 37 home runs with a slugging profile built for pressure moments in Yankee Stadium, even if specific odds for him today aren't listed in the sources. Prop betting angles are attractive here. Altuve to record over 1.5 total bases is a natural pivot, backed by his ongoing hot streak and elite production numbers. Pena over 1.5 total bases is also reasonable in the same vein. For longshot upside, Judge-driven props like home run or extra base hits would carry the classic high-reward flair, though our sources don't quote lines for those specifically. Still, they line up perfectly with this narrative-heavy approach. As for core plays, there's real value lurking in Yankees plus 1.5 on the run line, minus 163 or better, offering downside protection and upset potential. The underdog moneyline plus 102 is intriguing, given how close the projected win probabilities are. The total, over 8, appears to be the lean, considering both teams' recent outing patterns. A same-game parlay could stitch together Yankees plus 1.5, over 8 runs, and Altuve over 1.5 total bases, balancing a slight Yankees lean with offensive volume and elite performance. For high-octane upside, consider the Yankees moneyline, over 8, and Judge to hit a home run, wagering on narrative swing in the Bronx, big bad delivery, and modest aggregate scoring. A 4-leg parlay with Yankees ML, over 8, Altuve 1.5 plus, and Pena 1.5 plus total bases would be a deep but thematically consistent ticket for bettors chasing angle synergy. Ultimately, while Houston offers steadiness and betting line lean, New York's home environment and upside through Judge make the Yankees worth a shot at plus prices, especially with the spread insurance of plus 1.5. Combining that with the general scoring trends and star player props crafts a flexible, layered strategy that suits both conservative value tickets and higher risk, narrative-driven plays. My ideal lean would be Yankees plus 1.5 as the foundation, adding over 8 as a solid second tier, and sprinkling on Altuve to deliver on his latest hot streak. For viewers with a longer range in mind, building the outlined SGP sets you up for a balanced risk, storyline-rich ticket. That's exactly how Stump the Spread style logic tends to craft value, grounded in data, shaped around form and narrative, and assembled for maximum payoff potential. The Atlanta Braves and Miami Marlins head into Game 4 with the Marlins slightly favored across most books. Moneyline odds range from Miami at minus 105 to minus 116, while Atlanta is priced as an underdog from minus 104 to plus 110 depending on the source. The run line generally has the Marlins at minus 1.5 with odds around plus 155, while the Braves sit at plus 1.5 near minus 180. The total has ranged from 8 to 8.5, with over prices around minus 105 to minus 110 and similar value on the under, signaling a tightly poised encounter. The betting market is sending a message. This is a razor-thin matchup with angles on both sides. Line movement and team trends reinforce that slim margin. BetMGM markets show significant action on the Marlins following a pitching edge and hot stretch, moving them toward pick-em territory despite being on the road. Their starting pitcher, Edward Cabrera, owns a strong 5-5 record with a 3.24 ERA, and his team is 13-6 ATS in his starts. Opposite him, Bryce Elder for the Braves has a rough 4-8 record with a 6.03 ERA, and Atlanta is just 10-7 ATS in games he starts. FanDuel lines align, with Miami moneyline at minus 102, Braves at minus 116 underdog, and the Marlins favored minus 1.5 on the run line. Simulated projections are nearly even. Numberfire and other predictive models place Miami at roughly 50-52% win probability, an edge, but not enough to ignore the Braves entirely. That type of balance is often home to value on the underdog, especially when both pitching and form are under the microscope. Recent form and situational trends add texture. The Marlins are enjoying one of the hottest runs in baseball, going 27-13 over their last 40 games, even as they hover just below .500 overall. They've started the series 1-1 after splitting the first two. The Braves, by contrast, are stumbling, 1-4 over their last 5 and just 1-4 ATS in that span, including a poor 22-35 ATS on the road this season and struggles in covering lines overall. The totals have gone over in 3 of Atlanta's last 5 and 22 of their last 57 home games. Miami's been solid ATS, posting a 69-46 mark overall, including 32-27 at home, though that may not fully translate on the road. In head-to-head history, Miami leads the season series 4-3, and in Game 1 they pulled out a 5-1 win. Braves have been more consistent in home games after losses, winning 9 of their last 10 such matchups against NL East teams. The Marlins, meanwhile, have lost the first inning in 3 of their last 4 games as underdogs. Early scoring could play a factor. Drilling into player props, Kyle Stowers is the marquee bat for Miami. He was named NL Player of the Month for July after hitting .364, .451, .818 with 10 homers and 20 RBIs. He's a viable prop pick for overhits or total bases, with strong ROI metrics backing him. For Atlanta, Matt Olson is a value prop, hitting over in hits or singles in 18-22 of his last 25 home games. These are the kind of niche, data-styled plays stump the spread fans live for. Betting angles here split cleanly along 2 paths. A. Value underdog lean may favor Marlins moneyline or -1.5 run line and over 8 or 8.5, given both clubs' scoring trends. There are also situational angles to ride. First inning unders or early game outcomes, but the narrative today centers on Miami's offense and Cabrera advantage. Braves bettors may prefer a rooted at-home play like over or targeting Olson, but building on paper, the value seems tilted toward Florida. An ideal same-game parlay (SGP) could include Marlins ML, over 8.5 runs, and Stowers over hits or total bases. That mix offers a narrative-friendly, high-upside ticket with a clear offensive lean. If you want a multi-leg parlay with added risk and reward, you could link Marlins -1.5, over, Stowers over, and Olson over, balancing offense from both sides. Conservative players might just take Marlins ML or run line plus over, leaving props out for a cleaner, higher confidence play. Each path has merit. Backing a scrappy Marlins team riding momentum and pitching mismatches, or fading them by clinging to home environment and power bats. My lean lands on the Marlins run line or money line and over, plus sprinkling Stowers over as a prop. For bettors chasing bolt action tickets, the outlined SGP offers that stump the spread flavor, small stake, strong upside backed by trends and matchup data. Baltimore hosts Oakland in a contest where the Orioles are slight favorites at home, priced around -119 to -124 on the money line, while the Athletics are the underdog at about +106. The run line generally favors Baltimore at -1.5, offering payouts in the -200 area, with Oakland available at +1.5 for similar value. The total for this pitching-rich matchup is pegged high, around 10 runs, but balanced money on both sides suggests tight uncertainty about whether this will turn into a slugfest or a low-scoring affair. Simulators and betting models split the difference. Fox Sports projects a 53% win probability for Baltimore, whereas Numberfire leans toward Oakland, giving them around 54.7% to win the game. That dead-even line alongside conflicting projections is a classic signal to examine trends and nuances, where bettors can differentiate between perceived value and what the market might be overlooking. Recent team form and situational splits bring deeper context. The Orioles have gone 6-4 ATS over their last 10 and average around 4.5 runs per game with 12 total homers in that stretch, Their bullpen and offense combine to produce moderate output but show inconsistency. Oakland, meanwhile, has struggled as a road underdog overall, but trends show they've won 5 of 6 such games, covered the run line in each of the last 10 Saturday underdog spots, and often led after early innings. That suggests a team that may start strong, keeps games competitive, even when overlooked by the public. The probable starters offer compelling contrast. For Baltimore, Brandon Young will get his first win hopefully. He's 0-5 with a 5.88 ERA, and his team is 4-4 ATS in his starts. For the A's, Jack Perkins 0-2, 3.97 ERA, 1.15 WHIP, has been far better on the road, 0.79 ERA road split, which bolsters underdog narratives. Taken together, the pitching matchup may tilt marginally toward Oakland, at least in expectancy rather than reputation. Prop angles bring real value to the table. Nick Kurtz of the A's is scorching hot. 23 homers, high ops against right-handed pitching, averaging .400 over the last 2 weeks, and drawing attention as the premier home run value here, around +230. On Baltimore's side, players like Tyler O'Neill multi-HR in recent starts, and Ryan Mountcastle hit in 10 straight against certain opponents, offer solid single-game prop reliability. These are precisely the niche plays that add upside to SGP builds in the stump the spread approach. So, what bets make the most sense? The cleanest lean is A's moneyline +106 or +1.5 on the run line for value and potential upside. If you're more conservative, Orioles -1.5 as the home favorite is defensible. Public bettors may overcorrect, but with Young's performance shaky, there's rationale to fade. Totals are a coin flip too. Fox projects a high-scoring 6-5 final for Baltimore, suggesting over 10 could pay, but trends from both teams show recent games often running under. For a same-game parlay SGP, consider Oakland ML, Nick Kurtz to hit a home run, and over 10 runs. That merges game outcome value, a hot bat, and possible run support in a balanced high-upside ticket. A more aggressive multi-leg parlay might include Oakland -1.5, Kurtz to go deep, and Mountcastle over hits, stacking angle synergy from both sides. Ultimately, while Baltimore is the market favorite, the data points to Oakland as the smarter underdog swing. They've performed well in similar spots, their pitcher matches up more favorably than most think, and Kurtz offers a prop with meaningful edge. A lean on the A's ML or run line along with over or the Kurtz home run prop embodies the value-focused, model-informed style of stump the spread picks. My core play would be Oakland ML +106, sprinkle on over 10 if you're expecting fireworks, and add Kurtz home run for hedge upside. For viewers seeking spectrum, the outlined SGP offers narrative-rich, data-forward bang for your buck. Detroit opens Game 6 at home against Los Angeles, and sportsbooks have established them as clear favorites on the money line, generally at around -136 to -144. With the Angels listed as underdogs between +110 and +115. The run line sees Detroit -1.5 priced in the +140 to +150 range, while the Angels sit at +1.5 with minus vibes on payouts. The total is consistently set at 8.5, with heavy juice on the over at around -110 to -112, and the under slightly better at -108. Reflecting respect for the Tigers' offensive profile and Detroit's implied advantage in starting pitching. These numbers lay the groundwork. Detroit is expected to lean on pitching and home run power while the Angels try to hang around with contact and value pricing. Projections and win probability models give the Tigers roughly a 55 to 58% edge, with numberFire's simulated probability landing around 58.3%. While betting lines suggest implied probabilities in the high 50s as well. That range clearly favors Detroit, but not overwhelmingly. The Angels are far from pushovers, and history suggests underdogs at plus money deserve oddsmakers, respect when lines compress in this fashion. Recent team form adds texture. Detroit comes in 5-2 over their last 7 as favorites and 6-4 ATS over their past 10. while those games have gone over the total in 7 out of the 10. Their offense is humming, averaging 5.4 runs per game over that span, with a team ERA of 3.78. That's efficient offense paired with quality pitching, an optimal combination for bettors. The Angels, meanwhile, have lost several on the road lately and failed to cover run lines in many such games. Their pitching staff, veteran Yusei Kikuchi, has been holding opponents quietly, allowing just 1 run in each of his last 2 starts. That gives them reason for optimism despite recent struggles. The probable pitching matchup delivers a compelling contrast. Detroit sends out Charlie Morton, now 7-9 with a 5.20 ERA, while Los Angeles counters with Kikuchi, sporting a better 3.22 ERA. Morton's track record is shaky. His team is only 6-11 ATS in his starts, and just 3-5 when favored. Kikuchi, on the other hand, has a stronger ATS history, with 15-9 in his starts, even though the Angels haven't always won with him. That twist spotlights a game dynamic where Detroit's overall metrics lean better, but more risk pitching invites volatility. Player-level insight sharpens the script. On Detroit's side, Riley Green provides power, 26+ home runs, and Gleyber Torres delivers both average and timely power. Charlie Morton may be the arm on the mound, but bats like Green and Torres are the offense's engine. The Angels counter with Taylor Ward, a run producer across the lineup who has averaged over 25 homers, and Mike Trout, who remains a threat in any game. Those Angels bats thrive when they make contact, especially against shaky starters. Prop opportunities abound. Gleyber Torres getting a homer or going over 0.5 total bases is a solid anchor. Taylor Ward to hit a home run is a high upside, classic stump the spread style bet that rides his slugging presence. A more narrative-driven prop, Kikuchi over a certain strikeout total or holding Detroit under could be compelling if lines referenced, but current sources align best around power production from Green, Torres, and Ward. So how do you build the betting strategy? The edge lies in weighing the projected advantage toward Detroit while acknowledging pitching uncertainty. A logical lean is Tigers' moneyline at roughly -136 to -144 for a steady base, or Tigers -1.5 on the run line if you're confident in Detroit's offense and home advantage. The over seems likely too. Recent trends in the 8.5 total suggest you'd be looking for firepower from both sides. For props, a play on Gleyber Torres 0.5+ in total bases or home run, plus Taylor Ward homer, are both grounded and high impact. A same-game parlay SGP with Tigers ML, over 8.5, and Ward hits a lumber blast is a balanced high-upside build that touches outcome, scoring pace, and star power. For a bigger payout multi-leg parlay, add Gleyber Torres over 0.5 terabytes, layering in exploitable angles across both offense and results. A more conservative approach, take Tigers ML and sprinkle in Torres over and the over total for a cleaner ticket with higher hit probability. For high risk, high reward, the full SGP works, especially for fans of thematic alignment and narrative bets. In summation, Detroit holds the edge via run production, recent success as favorites, and implied win probability. But volatile starting pitching and Law's potential for power keep the game competitive. My lean, Tigers ML are -1.5 with picks on over 8.5 and select props, Torres over total bases and Ward for the long ball. That blend captures stump the spread style betting, grounded in numbers, attacking value, and tilting toward payoff, but always with plausible paths to success. The Cleveland Guardians open as clear favorites on the road against the Chicago White Sox, with most moneyline odds hovering around -139 to -142 for Cleveland while Chicago sits at +116 at home. The run line backs the Guardians at -1.5, offering about +123. While the White Sox carry +1.5 with juice between -150 and -149. The total is fixed at 8.5 runs, with the over priced at -115 to -106 and the under at -105. Markets are reflecting a modest edge toward Cleveland, but the balance is tight enough to make value plays possible on either side. Simulations and expert models echo this narrow edge. Fox Sports projects a 51% win probability for Cleveland to Chicago's 49%, while implied moneyline percentages suggest closer to 58%, highlighting that public pricing may overstate the Guardians' advantage. Numberfire or similar projections align closely with Fox, reinforcing the sense of a competitive matchup. Recent trends add compelling layers. The Guardians have averaged 5.6 runs per game with a stingy 2.84 ERA over their last 10 outings, and have covered the spread in 6 of those 10 scenarios. Meanwhile, Chicago's night game woes stand out. They've lost 8 straight Saturday night matchups against teams with winning records, while Cleveland's road teams regularly cover, doing so in each of their last 7 outings. At the pitching matchup level, Cleveland sends Joey Cantillo to the mound. He's 2-2 with a 4.37 ERA and 72 strikeouts on the season. Historically, Cantillo holds a 3.65 ERA against the White Sox, showing he handles this lineup reasonably well. Chicago counters with Sean Burke, 4-8, 4.23 ERA, who has been solid but generally less effective against Cleveland. Chicago has a better ATS record when Burke starts, but Cantillo's team tends to perform well in his starts. Individually, Cleveland features Jose Ramirez, who leads the team in home runs 23, RBs 61, and OPS .520 SLG. He enters this game on a recent high with multi-hit games and a home run in his latest outings. Steven Kwan also offers upside as a high OBP threat. On the Chicago side, Andrew Benintendi enters with reliable contact metrics in his splits, and Luis Robert Jr. brings exciting bat speed upside in this park under summary conditions. Prop opportunities stand out. Ramirez to go over 1.5 total bases draws attention. He's in a power groove and projection models favor his bat today. Benintendi projected over 0.5 total hits offers steady value, given his contact profile and reliability. Meanwhile, Luis Robert Jr. over 0.5 total hits is compelling. He's in the 88th percentile for BABIP talent and benefits from favorable park conditions and warm temperatures projected to aid offense. From a betting standpoint, the cleanest lean is Guardians moneyline at around -139 to -142. Value lies in backing the road favorites with momentum. The run line remains playable if you expect Cleveland to win by multiple runs. Notably, one well-reasoned contrarian play is White Sox first 5 innings moneyline, particularly with starter Aaron Civale, who's come in having thrown 0 earned runs across his last 3 starts. This situational angle, highlighted by experts, gives hedging potential in an otherwise Cleveland-leaning script. As for totals, the over 8.5 seems supported by both teams' recent scoring and pitching trends, Guardians averaging 5.6 runs per game recently, paired with offensive flashes from Chicago. However, Pickswise calls for an under lean, noting both offenses rank low in WRC plus and key splits. Not impossible, but overall, the over holds more narrative weight. An ideal same-game parlay (SGP) could blend Guardians ML, Ramirez over 1.5 total bases, and over 8.5 runs, melding outcome, elite bat upside, and scoring expectation. A more cautious multi-leg parlay might replace the total with White Sox F5 megaliters plus 110 for half-game insurance. For deep risk tickets, add Benintendi over hits or Robert Jr. over hits into the mix. My lean would begin with Guardians moneyline and Ramirez over 1.5 total bases. If stacking, the SGP with over 8.5 completes a balanced mix of value and narrative. This captures the stump the spread spirit, data-driven, trend-conscious, and hungry for upside. The Milwaukee Brewers host the New York Mets in this high-stakes late-season matchup, and sportsbooks make Milwaukee the clear choice at home. Moneyline odds typically fall between -126 and -152 in favor of the Brewers, while the Mets are lined up from plus 107 to plus 128, depending on the source and platform. The run line echoes that sentiment. The Brewers at minus 1.5 fetch between plus 168 and plus 180, while the Mets at plus 1.5 offer minus 200 or worse. Totals hover right around 8 to 8.5 runs, with slight pushes toward the under. Those numbers frame a game where public and sharp money sides expect Wisconsin's arms and consistent form to slow down New York's bats. Simulated models and expert intel reinforce the home side advantage. Fox Sports foresees a 60-40 split in Milwaukee's favor, projecting a 4-3 final, with under 8 as the total lean. Numberfire assigns Milwaukee a 62.4% chance to win outright. That implies a strong lean toward the Brewers, yet the Mets are not completely out of the picture if value bettors like plus money leans. Team form tells a compelling narrative. The Brewers are red hot, winning 9 of their last 10 games, recently dismantling teams like the Braves, Nationals, and Cubs. Their pitching staff, which ranks near the top with a 3.20 ERA since June 1, is firing on all cylinders. Conversely, the Mets are stumbling, winning just 2 of their last 10, dealing with offensive inconsistency and low ops stretches, while their team ERA over that span sits near the bottom of the league at 4.52. That juxtaposition underscores why sportsbooks see Milwaukee as the level above. This game features a classic pitching showdown between Kodai Senga and Brandon Woodruff, 2 elite arms who set the tone. Senga enters with a 7-3 record, 2.31 ERA, and dominant strikeout rate, though he's stumbled a bit since returning from the IL with a 6.19 ERA over his last 12 innings. Woodruff has been nearly untouchable since his return, sporting a 3-0 record with a 2.22 ERA and stellar peripherals, giving Milwaukee plenty of reason for confidence. The contrast between Senga's recent rust and Woodruff's sharp form is a pivotal storyline. Player props further enrich the betting landscape. Brandon Nimmo is a solid angle, holding a strong contact profile and registering multiple hits in previous games. His odds on 1+ hit land in the modest payoff range and make for nice low-risk picks. The NY Post also highlights a striking prop: Woodruff to exceed 6.5 strikeouts. He's averaging over a K per inning and facing a Mets offense that's faltering. These options offer mid-tier bettors a chance to add value and upside. From a betting strategy standpoint, Milwaukee's moneyline is the backbone: high probability, strong form, elite pitching. Taking the run line, minus 1.5, edges the value for those expecting key innings dominance. With totals, action leans under 8, supported by both sides' strong pitching and low-scoring trends. For props, Woodruff over 6.5 strikeouts or Nimmo 1+ hit deliver narrative-driven edge. A same-game parlay that fuses Brewers ML, under 8, and Nimmo 1+ hit is an elegant build mixing outcome silencer, total control, and contact upside. For spicy scenario watchers, swapping under for Woodruff K over, pairing that with Brewers ML delivers a tight, high-ceiling combo. A deeper, high-variance parlay could bundle Milwaukee minus 1.5, under 8, Nimmo hit, and Woodruff K over for a robust payoff narrative. In summary, while Senga offers a track record of dominance, his recent form suggests vulnerability. Milwaukee's red-hot consistency, elite staff performance, and home field edge tilt the scales sharply. My lean: Brewers ML, under 8, sprinkle in Nimmo hit. For those seeking layered value, the full SGP hits the stump the spread spirit, scene awareness, data foundation, and upside forward. Texas Rangers host the Philadelphia Phillies in a matchup that unfolds as a tightly contested offensive versus pitching narrative. The Phillies enter as moneyline favorites in most markets at around minus 128, while the Rangers sit in the plus 107 to plus 112 range, depending on the platform. The run line favors Philadelphia at minus 1.5 with juice around plus 132 to plus 137, and Texas is spotted plus 1.5 at approximately minus 160. The total is set at 7.5 runs, with over priced around -102 and under at the juicier -119, reflecting skepticism about whether either lineup can establish late-game breakout scoring. These lines frame a game that hinges on a pitching duel, a quintessential framework for value-driven bettors. Simulated models and expert picks mirror that tight edge for Philadelphia. Numberfire projects a narrow edge for the Phillies, while Fox Sports also leans Philly with a modest 53% win expectation. Betting markets reflect skepticism about Philadelphia's margin, with implied probability slightly higher, suggesting public money may be overweight. That proximity between simulation and line makes this matchup ripe for digging into splits and game-time nuances to uncover real value. Recent team form adds interesting contrast. Philly just rolled the Rangers in Game 1, a 9-1 blowout fueled by a first-inning Schwarber homer and timely RBI from Trey Turner. Offensively, the Phillies are humming, averaging about 5.1 runs per game over their last 10, with 17 home runs, and they've gone over in 5 of those 10 matchups. Their team ERA in that stretch is roughly 3.78, offering support from the pitching side as well. Texas, meanwhile, is struggling at home, especially in high-leverage offensive contests, averaging only 3.7 runs per game with a 4.35 ERA. Their recent ATS record hovers around 6-4 over 10, and the offense hasn't snapped back in games against elite arms. Pitching shapes this one. The Phillies send Jesus Luzardo to the bump, sitting at 10-5 with a 4.32 ERA. His ATS splits land around the .500 mark in starts 10-12, but he performs better when favored 12-7. Texas counters with Jacob deGrom, sporting a 10-4 record, stellar 2.80 ERA, and a minuscule 0.94 WHIP. However, when deGrom starts as an underdog, Texas is 0-3 ATS. That seam, elite pitcher in a less confident offensive spot, offers a shaded angle for prop and totals betting readers. On the player prop side, Kyle Schwarber looms large. 41 home runs and 95 RBIs give him standout power potential, especially against a deGrom underdog team. Trey Turner, riding a multi-week hitting streak and recent 5 RBI game, projects as a dependable contact prop, 0.5 plus hits or total bases. On the Rangers side, consider Corey Seager or Marcus Semien for over hits. Seager offers reliable output and splits trending up. Those are classic stump the spread style props that pair statistical use with narrative edge. So how to lean this? The strongest play is a lean toward Philly's moneyline. They have edge on both sides of the ball and strong team momentum. For upside, under 7.5 runs fits well, as both starters can suppress scoring. Line movement suggests public skepticism about over. For props, side with Schwarber to go deep or Turner over hits, and consider deGrom's strikeouts over if available as a long stake. His stuff rates among the best even in late innings. A same-game parlay could pair Phillies ML, under 7.5, and Schwarber home run, a compact ticket balancing result, tempo, and a potential market-moving bat. For layered builds, swap the total for a safer prop like Turner over hits, or add Seager over hits to craft a multi-leg with offense across both sides. Ultimately, the best path keeps leverage on Philly's offense and elite starter while safeguarding via a low-scoring mindset. My core lean is Philly's moneyline. For extras, under 7.5 and Schwarber long ball are high-value plays that reflect the numbers and momentum. The San Francisco Giants and Washington Nationals face off in Game 10 at Oracle Park, with the Giants opening as clear moneyline favorites, typically around -169. While the Nationals sit at a tempting +142. The run line offers similar separation, with San Francisco at -1.5 priced near +127, and Washington +1.5 around -153. The total is set at 8.5 runs, where action is pushing toward the over, -104 on the over versus -116 on the under, suggesting bettors anticipate a modest offensive night but are keyed in on the run scoring potential. This pricing layout defines a game where elite pitching and narrative urgency meet value-seeking angles. Projected win probabilities mirror that edge. In Vegas models and Fox Sports simulations, the Giants hold about a 57% chance to win, echoing the betting line. That tight margin, paired with public skepticism, offers potential value on Washington if you're willing to back a plus-money underdog in a narrative-rich spot. Recent trends underline San Francisco's momentum. The Giants enter having won 3 straight, looking to turn this into a series sweep against a Nationals team entrenched near the bottom of the standings. The Nationals just dropped a 5-0 shutout, while San Francisco shows some offensive life after early season struggles. As rebuild mode deepens in Washington, after trades and firings, the Giants can pivot this series into an opportunity for playoff push momentum. Pitching dynamics tilt towards San Francisco subtly. Saturday's probable starters are Giants' Carson Whisenhunt, 1-0, 4.35 ERA, versus Nationals' Brad Lord, 2-6, 3.42 ERA. Lord's ERA suggests durability and effectiveness, but Whisenhunt's team is surging, and he's aiming for win number 2 on the year. The Nationals have covered the spread 4-2 when Lord is the underdog, offering a contrarian edge backers can explore. In Game 3 of the series Sunday, Mackenzie Gore, 4-12, 4.29 ERA, faces Justin Verlander, 1-8, 4.29 ERA. Gore's performance has cratered since midseason and he's far from trustworthy. His last 7 starts include a brutal 7.36 ERA. Verlander has steadied lately and pitched a gem in his last outing, making him a surprising plus even as a probable underdog. From a betting standpoint, the cleanest lean remains the Giants' moneyline. Momentum, depth, and playoff expectations support that lean. The run line offers added value if you expect a multi-run route. Totals draw conflicting signals. Fox predicts a 5-4 Giants win, leaning over, while MLB betting sites are leaning over 8.5 as well, albeit at modest juice. Prop angles emerge via the batters. Heliot Ramos brings multi-dimensional value. He's a rising star with recent form improvement in A.271, .348, .416/. Ideal for overhits or total bases angles. On the Nationals, keep an eye on flashes from Mackenzie Gore's return or young players, though the safer prop route lies with Ramos. A same-game parlay could balance outcome and prop storyline. Giants ML over 8.5 runs, and Ramos over hits would combine narrative alignment with measurable trends. For a multi-leg build, consider layering Ramos over with Verlander to allow under a run or Lord to outperform. A riskier ticket could hinge on aggregate scoring, star batter performance, and gutsy pitching props. Summing that up, the numbers and context strongly favor San Francisco, but the Nationals' volatility makes contrarian plays viable for underdog diehards. My lean: Giants ML or -1.5 on the run line if you're confident in offense versus Gore. Add over 8.5 and Ramos over hits for layered ticketing, or build a light SGP mixing outcome and high upside bat angles. The Dodgers host the Blue Jays at Dodger Stadium with the moneyline leaning heavily toward Los Angeles. Most books list them around -167 to -170, while Toronto sits at a tempting +140 to +142. The run line backs LA at -1.5 +124 to +146, with Toronto at +1.5 around -150. The total lands at 8.5 runs, with the over priced between -116 and -120. And the under seen at -104, signaling sportsbooks anticipate a run-scoring tilt. These lines frame a game with a clear favorite but enough nuance for savvy bettors to probe deeper. Simulated models reinforce this lean. Stats Insider's model places the Dodgers at a solid 61% win probability, giving the Blue Jays carry value with their plus-money underdog line. Fox Sports projects the Dodgers with a 52-48 edge, aligning closely with market pricing, while sportsbooks imply around 62.5% win likelihood for LA, showing public confidence is a bit higher than analytical output. Recent trends spotlight divergent strengths. The Dodgers have been dominant at home, especially since the All-Star break, symbolizing consistency and power supply. Their recent games have mostly gone under, as dominant pitching often suppresses run totals. The Blue Jays, by contrast, have lived in over land, moving the total over in 7 of their last 10 games, and especially against NL West teams and away from home. The starting pitching sets up a vintage duel. Clayton Kershaw, Dodgers, has posted a 3.14 ERA with a 6-2 record, while Max Scherzer, Blue Jays, owns a 4.21-4.43 ERA and went 2-1 last time out. Kershaw's recent strikeout pace has slipped. SI suggests fading his strikeout prop given his reduced swing and miss profile, while covering through contact. Offensively, the Dodgers are armed with Shohei Ohtani, who has launched 39 homers and leads Law's offensive engine. Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman also bring high upside, with Betts on a mini-hitting streak and Freeman holding a .308 season average. For Toronto, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. remains a centerpiece, owning the top expected batting average in the majors and riding an OBP surge in his last 23 games. Bo Bichette also represents affordable prop upside, with covers recommending a single-game parlay (SGP) combining Vladdy over runs, total bases, and a Bichette home run for explosive potential. From a betting perspective, the strongest lean lies with the Dodgers' moneyline, solid projection alignment, home strength, and pitching edge. For totals, the over 8.5 feels justified by Toronto's volatility and Law's capable offense, although past under trends shouldn't be dismissed entirely. Props like Guerrero over 0.5 runs, over 1.5 total bases, and Bichette over 0.5 HR, plus 450, deliver upside in a compact package. A well-balanced SGP might include Dodgers ML, over 8.5 runs, and Guerrero over 1.5 total bases. This nails outcome, scale, and star bat amplification in one ticket. For deeper risk, a multi-leg parlay adding Bichette HR ups the ceiling. Conservative ticket, Dodgers ML plus Guerrero over Betts hits both reliability and narrative. Aggressive, include Betts or Freeman hits for domestic balance. In summary, while LA has the technical and situational advantage, the Blue Jays' offensive tilt and value pricing make this spot rich for deeper plays. My core lean, Dodgers ML, with key prop overlays on Guerrero, and an over 8.5 total if your route is run production. Build the SGP accordingly to retain that stump the spread aggression, with data-based edge and payoff potential. Arizona welcomes Colorado to Chase Field, and sportsbooks have installed the Diamondbacks as heavy favorites. Moneyline pricing has Arizona around -228, with the Rockies sitting at +187. Betting markets also show the D-backs favored on the run line at -1.5, lines hover near -114 for Arizona and plus money for Colorado. The total is placed at 9.5 runs, with over around -104 and under at -117, implying a lean toward offense, at least on paper. These numbers paint a clear favorite but offer room to explore value for the plus money underdog and find edge in run flow tempo. Analytical models elevate the D-backs to a 59% win probability, per Fox Sports, while Numberfire pushes that to nearly 72%, underscoring immense confidence in Arizona. Yet, sharp bettors may sniff upside on Colorado, especially if live betting or prop dynamics shift mid-game. Recent trends further support Arizona's edge. Their postseason hopes may be slim, but they've shown regional dominance and offensive consistency of late. Meanwhile, the Rockies remain one of the league's weakest organizations, both in record and run differential, particularly on the road. On the mound, the contrast is stark. Colorado turns to Bradley Blaylock, 1-3, 7.68 ERA, while Arizona counters with Eduardo Rodriguez, 4-7, 5.53 ERA. Both have been inconsistent. Rodriguez's team sits at 6-12 ATS in his starts, and Blaylock's Rockies are 2-4 ATS when he starts, including 1-5 as underdogs. That volatility may pull bettors toward predictable offense or player-specific bets over standard totals or lines. Offensively, Arizona's lineup showcases high-grade contributors like Corbin Carroll, who leads dynamic threats in power and speed, and Ketel Marte, a consistent on-base presence and sound value prop target per expert pick lists. Colorado counters with hitters like Jordan Beck and Hunter Goodman showing flashes, especially at Coors Field, but their production has been far less reliable away. From a structural betting perspective, the best lean rests with the Diamondbacks' moneyline. They bring far greater run management upside and proven execution. The over 9.5 runs could offer value, given Arizona's home park and offensive surge, but Rockies' pitching variability injects caution. Props to target include Ketel Marte over hits or singles, given his methodological consistency, along with Corbin Carroll as long ball value, assuming offerings are live. For contrarian or hedging plays, consider the Rockies to cover plus 1.5 or first 5 innings props if the starter offers local performance edge. A sleek same-game parlay (SGP) might stitch together Diamondbacks ML, Marte over base hits, and over 9.5 runs, merging result, player-level upside, and high-scoring narrative. For higher risk, a multi-leg parlay could layer in Carroll home run or Rockies underdog ML to grant asymmetrical payoff lines. More conservative players could stick with ML and prop alone, or just lean on run line plus over, depending on appetite and live betting flexibility. To summarize, Arizona's dominance in this matchup is grounded in offensive strength, pitching advantage, and home field leverage. The best blend follows bird of a feather logic, core ML play, paired with player props that balance approachability and upside. If Rockies' risks are on the table, first half props or isolated innings coverage offer hedged engagement. San Diego steps onto Petco Park as clear but not overwhelming favorites against Boston. The Padres sit between -170 and -185 on the moneyline, while the Red Sox hover around +125 to +155 depending on the book. The run line mirrors that backing, with San Diego at -1.5 priced around +124 to +140, and Boston at +1.5 offering negative juice. Totals settle between 8 and 8.5 runs, with the over tagged -102 to -108 and the under between -113 to -119, hinting at potential offensive output balanced by strong pitching. Analytical models and market trends support a Padres lean but show Boston underdog value. Projection systems like BetMGM trends peg San Diego's win probability in the 60 to 63% range, while others like Doug Ziefel's model at Action Network spotlight Boston based on probable outs efficiency. That duality makes for a high-value matchup where underdog bettors might sniff upside. Momentum favors both sides in different ways. Boston arrives having taken both series in a recent homestand, while San Diego has surged since the All-Star break with a top 5 record at 12-7, tied with Boston's 11-7, marking them as two of the hottest teams in the league. Offensively, Boston ranks top 5 league-wide, averaging 5.0 runs per game and sporting a strong batting average and slugging percentage, while San Diego leans on efficiency, thanks to a top-tier rotation and SUB 3.65 team era. Friday night's pitching matchup features contrasting trajectories. San Diego sends Nick Pivetta to the mound, a former Red Sox right-hander posting a 2.73 ERA and 136 strikeouts this season. Boston counters with Walker Buehler, who's posted a shaky 5.74 ERA and 9 home runs allowed, though historically dominant against the Padres. That narrative, Buehler's dominance versus current form, adds juicy narrative side value for contrarian backs. Boston's offense includes power bats and veteran depth. The lineup features Wilyer Abreu, who recently launched a 423-foot home run against Pivetta, and Masataka Yoshida, who combined for a multi-RBI performance in their last meeting. San Diego counters with a familiar cast. Xander Bogaerts swinging well with 8.784 ops in recent play, Manny Machado's steady presence, and the added dimension of facing former teammates like Pivetta and Bogaerts in enemy uniform adds a storyline flavor. From a betting standpoint, the lean favors Padres' moneyline, grounded on pitching edge and home advantage. The run line -1.5 offers potential upside for believers in San Diego's offensive efficiency. The total leans neutral. Over has some narrative traction considering Boston's offense and Petco Park hitting, but strong starting arms make under viable too. Prop plays align nicely with the narratives. Ryan O'Hearn to hit a home run plus 550 leaps out, given his success versus Buehler in limited at-bats and power upside. For San Diego, Nick Pivetta over 6.5 strikeouts offers a safe, high-value angle, while Xander Bogaerts over hits packs upside with high familiarity against Boston pitching in recent form. A high-upside same-game parlay (SGP) could stitch together Padres ML, under 8 runs, and O'Hearn HR, blending result, tempo control, if pitchers dominate and surprise star power. For a more balanced parlay, stack Padres ML, Pivetta over 6.5 kiloseconds, and Bogaerts over hits for reliable, layered value. Cleaner, lower-risk plays could include just Padres ML and O'Hearn hour. Ultimately, San Diego holds the technical edge, but Boston's veteran firepower and matchup familiarity give bettors something to chew on. My core lean is Padres ML, with a sprinkle on O'Hearn long ball upside, and for those looking to chase value, the layered SGP hits the stump the spread DNA, grounded data, narrative arcs, and upside return. Seattle arrives at T-Mobile Park riding a hot streak, owning a 63-53 record and a 4-game winning run, while the Rays come in 57-59 after one of their roughest months of the year, posting a brutal the 7th to the 18th of July that cratered projections for their playoff chances to just 7%. The betting market shows Seattle as a slight favorite, generally around -129 to -130 on the moneyline, with Tampa Bay at +107 to +110. The run line leans Mariners -1.5, and total is being set at 8 runs. From a probability standpoint, models give Seattle a 53% chance to win and imply around 56% based on the line, suggesting the price slightly overvalues them relative to pure projection metrics. That compression offers a sliver of value on Tampa Bay, especially for bettors drawn to underdog angles with narrative juice. Looking at recent form, the Mariners come in strong, sweeping the White Sox and winning 7 of their last 10 games. Their lineup's power profile is firing, while their rotation has solid median performance at home. In contrast, the Rays are limping after July, with one of the worst team WRC+ marks in MLB since July 1, only ahead of the Pirates in that stretch. The pitching matchups present an intriguing crossroads. Seattle will hand the ball to Luis Castillo, 8-6, 3.22 ERA, 115 kiloseconds in approximately 131 IP, a strike thrower who logs innings efficiently. On the mound for Tampa Bay is Joe Boyle, 1-1, 2.30 ERA, 26 kiloseconds in 27.1 IP, who offers emerging upside and strong underlying metrics, but may be vulnerable in a homer-happy park against a power lineup. On the offensive front, Cal Raleigh blasted his MLB leading 43rd homer to rally Seattle in Game 1, showing the kind of power the Mariners can lean on. For the Rays, Junior Caminero and Brandon Lowe remain the only consistent bats in the lineup, both with power and run producing value despite overall offensive struggles. Turning to props, a few options jump out. Castillo to go over 5.5 strikeouts makes plenty of sense given his K rate and good feel for the zone. Brandon Lowe to hit a home run carries serious narrative value since he's handled Seattle's pitchers consistently well. And from a surprise underdog angle, Tampa Bay moneyline props in an SGP could spark big upside for a moderate stake. Single bets to consider. Mariners moneyline at -130 for a solid home favorite, over 8 runs if you're expecting a power slugfest, or the play down the middle if you want to fade the chatter. For a same-game parlay, one could glue together Mariners ML, Castillo over 5.5K, and low to homer, classic payoff plus narrative. A risk-averse build might swap low for over 8 runs or include both for a 4-leg high-reward ticket. A lean contrarian may go raise ML plus low HR for maximum juice. In summary, Seattle holds the edge via offensive rhythm, rotation depth, and home advantage. But Boyle's upside and Lowe's bat give Tampa Bay credible counterplay. My foundation lean, Mariners moneyline, sprinkle in Castillo's strikeout prop for value, and for bettors chasing fantasy, the SGP mixes outcome, arm work, and hero power. The Chicago Cubs visit Busch Stadium to take on the St. Louis Cardinals in a high-stakes rivalry game on August 9. Betting markets clearly favor Chicago. Moneyline odds land between -166 to -170, while the Cardinals, as the home underdog, sit around +140 to +144. The run line mirrors that gap, with Cubs at -1.5 priced near +100 to +104, and St. Louis at +1.5 with juice from -120 to -125. The total is steady at 8.5 runs, with both sides seeing roughly even juice, over -105, under -115. This setup signals a game with clear leverage on Chicago but still room for value across outcomes. Model projections and expert analysis echo that lean toward Chicago, though not without nuance. BetMGM's trend model forecasts a 57.9% win probability for the Cubs based on simulations and trends. PicksWise also leans Cubs moneyline, citing Matthew Boyd's dominance over St. Louis hitters, 0 earned runs in prior outings. Conversely, Action Network previews suggest Cardinals could cover the +1.5, capitalizing on Cubs' recent struggles in night games and MLB betting flow. Heading into this matchup, Chicago is 66-49 and holding on tightly to NL's central positioning, while St. Louis sits just above .500 at 59-58. Momentum trends diverge. The Cardinals swept the Cubs in Game 1 with a 5-0 shutout behind Michael McGreevy's strong performance. Meanwhile, the Cubs have seen their bats go cold in night games versus NL's central foes. That disparity in recent performance creates a nuanced battlefield for bettors. Pitching sets the stage with a clear edge for Chicago. Matthew Boyd, 11-5 with a 2.34 ERA, is one of the most consistent starters in the National League, allowing 0 runs in 5 of his last 7 starts and having thrown 2 shutout outings against the Cardinals this year. St. Louis counters with Michael McGreevy, 3-2, 5.08 ERA, who has struggled in recent starts. That contrast gives Chicago a major leaning point for bettors. Offensively, the Cubs lean on depth. Nico Horner leads with 123 hits, while Pete Crow Armstrong and Kyle Tucker combine for big season totals. Ian Happ is red hot, going over 1.5 in hits, runs, and RBIs in 4 of his last 5 games, an ideal prop angle. For St. Louis, Mason Wynn leads the charge with a 10-game hitting streak in Saturday contests, and Lars Nootbaar brings power, homering in his last 2 appearances at Busch. Those player-level angles line up perfectly with the stump the spread DNA. Betting strategy leans toward Chicago's moneyline as the clean, high-probability play. Expect value on Cubs -1.5 for bettors expecting Boyd to dominate. The total feels balanced, leaning slightly toward the under considering Boyd's shutdown tendencies, though Chicago's offense could tilt a bit more. Props such as Ian Happ over 1.5 H plus R plus RBI and win over hits give low cost, high upside value. A savvy same-game parlay might include Cubs ML, Happ over 1.5 H plus R plus RBI, and under 8.5 runs, melding background outcome, player momentum, and tempo edge. For bigger juice, a 4-leg parlay could layer in Cardinals ML or win over hits for dual-sided appeal. A leaner ticket, Cubs ML plus Happ prop alone delivers strong narrative and value. In sum, the Cubs hold the edge through pitching, statistical dominance over the Cardinals, and early series momentum. That said, The rivalry edge and hidden prop plays from 7th-inning heroes offer wiggle room toward smarter value bets. My lean is Cubs moneyline plus hap over performance, and if you're stretching, the outlined SGP hits all the right thematic and value notes. If you love baseball as much as we do and you want to stay one step ahead of the books, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our daily breakdowns. Drop your picks in the comments. Let's see who can call the most winners tonight. And remember, the edge isn't just in the stats. It's in the details we give you right here, every single day.